Those very same institutions that you're presenting are the ones who are also calling out Israel. Human Rights Watch says Israel's an apartheid state since 2021. Says Israel's committing a genocide since like last year. But you hate that. You go, no Jews, no news. Why does nobody care about the DPRK? You know what this is? This is when you're sitting in a court of law, okay? Let's say you're clavicular, okay? Let's say you're clavicular and you're sitting in front of a judge who is weirdly handsome, okay? Weirdly sexy judge. You're sitting in a court and he's actually mogging you, okay? This is a real thing that happened recently. But the part I'm about to explain to you is hypothetical. And the judge says, hey, clavicular, I see here that, you have discharge of a deadly weapon, animal endangerment. These are your charges. What do you have to say? And clavicular turns around and goes, Your Honor, what about all the other people that also hurt animals? Okay, well, that's not what we're looking at right now, is it, clavicular? Now you got legal mog. Bilbo Maher. Also another incredible journalist. New rule, he says. No Jews, no news. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, the no Jews, no news is a very classic Zionist trope. Okay? Yeah, wake up. It's new rule time. No Jews, no news is a classic Zionist trope. Okay? It's a way for Hasbara peddlers to say, oh, you only care about this because Jews live in Israel, right? Classic. It's a classic way to try and not tackle the argument that you're presenting, but instead try to imply that you're anti-Semitic for caring about this at all. Is Bill Maher Jewish? The question was yes and no. Bill Maher apparently is Jewish, but not only did he not know that he was Jewish, or he was raised Catholic most of his life. Okay. Bill Maher, on the other hand, however, as a very famous atheist, raised Catholic, and has unbelievable Catholic vibes, for the record. Was a very prominent atheist who was a major Islamophobe, and just like Sam Harris is very, very pro-Israel. Despite being an atheist. It's very odd, very strange how these guys are always, I'm an atheist, but also a Jewish theocratic ethno-state is fine by me.
And finally, new rules since all way worse. And that's how you...
Yeah, famously, all of these countries that we fund and facilitate and offer political cover to, famously. He said Miramar, which is awesome. Myanmar is what he means. But once again, not only is this idiotic because you're doing like atrocity Olympics, which Bill Maher himself would be the first to be like, why are you doing oppression Olympics? Can't you just address the argument without engaging in whataboutism? Can't you stop doing whataboutism? Anyway, but of course, none of these countries, like you're talking about North Korean repression, like what are my tax dollars doing, man? Are my taxes upholding Jusha thought? I wish that was the case, by the way. But so far, that's not what's going on. There's no DPRK PAC, right? There's no Marxist-Leninist, Jushaist principled thought that exists in the United States of America. Okay? What do you mean? North Korea, unrelenting repression, hunger, and inequality. Those very same institutions that you're presenting are the ones who are also calling out Israel. Human Rights Watch says Israel's an apartheid state since 2021. Says Israel's committing a genocide since like last year. But you hate that. You go, no Jews, no news. Why does nobody care about the DPRK? You know what this is? This is when you're sitting in a court of law. Okay? Let's say you're clavicular. Okay, let's say you're clavicular and you're sitting in front of a judge who is weirdly handsome, okay? Weirdly sexy judge. You're sitting in a court and he's actually mogging you, okay? This is a real thing that happened recently. But the part I'm about to explain to you is hypothetical. And the judge says, hey, clavicular, I see here that, you have discharge of a deadly weapon, animal endangerment. These are your charges. What do you have to say? And clavicular turns around and goes, Your Honor, What about all the other people that also hurt animals? Okay, well, that's not what we're looking at right now, is it, clavicular? Now you got legal mogged. You are very insensitive to what? Clavicular's demise? I need to show you guys what I'm talking about, because many of you probably have lives and you didn't see this, but like, so Clavicular shot in the Everglades, I think. He shot a bunch of rounds into the swampland, okay? And I think there were crocodiles in the direction where he opened fire in, okay? And now, of course, he's in court for the alligator incident that took place, or not crocodiles, alligators, right? Oh, they killed one. They actually killed one. They mag dumped a dead croc. Okay. Anyway, look at this.
Two social media streamers accused of firing a gun in the Everglades during a live stream. They have now pleaded no contest.
Dude, how? They found the one fucking judge in the entire state that could frame mog the living shit out of Clavicular. It is unbelievable. I'm sorry. This has to be deliberate, right? What are the odds? What are the fucking odds? I think this is a really funny curse that Clavicular has brought about himself. Okay? He rises to prominence. And in some respects, his rise to fame, because he's not exactly a particularly interesting person, or he's not exactly like a confident guy at all. He's not very charismatic. He can't really carry a conversation. But because he's hot, everyone pays attention to him, which technically proves the point that he was making. His life's mission is to say, being attractive gives you tremendous benefits, right? And in many respects, because of his own personal journey of becoming a more attractive person, right? This has created an environment where he's gained tremendous fame and maybe even infamy. And yet his life has become a sequence of brutal moggings. First, he goes to ASU and the frat leader frame mogs him into oblivion. Then he does a 60 minutes interview. Okay? He does a 60 minutes interview with an Australian guy, and the Australian guy is fucking hot. And he brutally frame mogs him, destroys him. Now he's in a court, standing before a judge, and the judge's like, look at how fucking hot I am. I haven't bone smashed at all. He just keeps getting fucking frame mogged. Yeah, all that looks maxing, only to get mogged by every random adult he meets. So in some ways he won. His entire existence as a media figure is a victory for the theory that he's advancing. The theory that he's advancing is if you're hot, people pay attention to you and they give you tremendous benefits. And in many respects, it's true. It has happened. But at what cost? But at what personal cost? Great personal cost. Do you understand? Is it worth cashing that check at the end of the day? Think about it. He is the Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, Lenin of Mog theory, okay? Instead of Marxist Leninism, we're talking about advancing dialectical Mogism, okay? It's not historical or dialectical materialism. It's dialectical Mog theory, okay? And this man has paid the ultimate cost in order to advance Marxist Mogism, in order to become the Karl Mog of an entire generation. He has constantly put himself in front of way sexier dudes over and over again, okay? Way hotter dudes over and over again. And they're not even trying. They are just living their daily lives. They have careers. They've worked to reach a level of prominence in their own specific sectors. They didn't bone smash. They didn't do meth. They're not on retatrutide. They're not cycling Anavar. They're not infertile. They're just regular dudes. And it turns out, as regular dudes who have probably lived a much longer life than Clavicular will most likely end up living, given his drug habits, and also not infertile, they're just constantly fucking mogging him. There's got to be a Greek myth that is a perfect analog for this, okay? I don't know. I'm not well read enough, and I can't think of one right now. But this is like his life is a Greek tragedy. Okay, his life is a Greek tragedy. Narcissus, more like Mogasus. I'm gonna tweet. This man's life is a Greek tragedy. His rise to fame proves his theory that being attractive will give you tremendous fame, but the cost of that has been to be brutally mocked by encounters. It's perfect. Tremendous unearned fame and admiration. He's a real, bro, I'm telling you, he's a real life revolutionary. Okay, he is a real life revolutionary. What have I done? Nothing. Okay. Oh yeah, I get a lot of death threats. Oh, I travel around the country to uplift certain candidates that I think are going to be better for the working class. Okay, but am I getting mogged everywhere I go? No. Clavicular is. He is. He has made. He is so committed to this cost, but at great sacrifice to his own personal mental faculties. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. I know we stepped aside from Bill Maher to this brutal frame mocking, but it's a little ADHD today. It's Saturday fun day, so, bear with me, okay? By the way, again, David Dayen is Jewish, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Our goat, David, is being mentioned here, but at what cost? And it's always like half of these people. I say I think because I don't know and I don't ask. Why would I do that? That'd be fucking weird, okay? Because it has nothing to do with people's commentary and work. It's just like I always find it odd to play that game of like, oh, you don't have enough black people on your stream or whatever, right? Like when people do that and you're like, no, I do. And then you start naming black people. It's a fucking strange experience. Okay. It's a strange thing to do. It's never, you're never going to look good doing that. And it's the same with trying to figure out if like someone that you've known for years is Jewish or not. It's like odd. Okay. It's odd. It's dehumanizing. It has, nothing, like there's no reason to entertain that. Okay. And it's the same with like Jewish people as well. But it is additionally funny because like, he's making this argument up here. And again, the people that he's going to shit on are, I think all of them are Jewish. Like at the American Prospect, like the people I think he's going to bring up, if I know who he's going to bring up, they're Jewish themselves. They're just anti-Zionists. Careers. Yeah. Beast mode, by the way. Critical support to Mo Kachik.
Race. People say the left and the right can't agree on anything these days. Well, there is this one.
Yeah, for a lot of people, you know what they care about? Is this person a good investigative reporter? Okay? And for some others, they say,
legalize comedy. Legalize comedy.
I'm not super familiar with Mo's work, but I'm pretty sure she is a very good investigations editor for The Prospect. I love The Prospect. The Prospect does a lot of great work overall. Okay, that's a terrible fucking screenshot. God damn it. Okay, now I'm a hater. What the fuck is this screenshot? Remember 2024 when you ran and find yourself replying to a Democrat friend who's take, I will take 1 zillion payday loans for Kamala if you promise to stop killing kids. Oliver Larkin was one of the tormented campaign spammers on the other side. I needed to save my soul. Full story here. Larkin is a tireless, articulate, detail-oriented DSA Dem who's not afraid to tell you how his life story exemplifies U.S. downward mobility. Come on. Come on. Mo, what the fuck is this? You couldn't find a better fucking screenshot. What is that screenshot? Okay, I'm a hater. I can't believe she said that. You know what? I take it back, okay? I take it back. I can't believe Mo said those words, okay? How unbelievable. How unbelievable. She should be fired from the American Prospect. Post haste. We had a 2-hour conversation. That's the fucking frame. That's the one single frame you chose. What the hell? I look like I'm on meth. Probably putting a fucking zit in my mouth. My hand is moving. I look like Popeye the Sailor Man. What the fuck is this? Why'd you do this to me? I was just talking shit about how Clavicular is getting mogged everywhere he goes. Hasan, I'm sorry. I've been timed out for a week. Don't look at why, but I was at the SF rally and it was incredible. It was an amazing night and I feel so optimistic about the future because of you and all other progressives. Okay. I won't look at why you got timed out for a week.
One thing they agree on. Right-winger Tucker Carlson has Nick Fuentes and Holocaust deniers on his podcast and wonders along with them, who really...
Yeah, okay, this is unbelievably intellectually dishonest, okay? The editors at The Prospect are not in agreement with fucking Nicholas Fuentes or other Holocaust deniers or maybe even Tucker Carlson, okay? This is so frustrating and it's really annoying because like I am going to get hit with the other side of this in a brief moment, so I'm obviously, positioning myself ahead of time. But like is there no interest or investment as to why we who have spent a lifetime opposing these malign forces, these cancerous forces in American politics and global politics, forces of fascism, also have a morally consistent position of the fascism that the Bill Maher would say Jewish ethno state also represents? Also, why are you doing fucking cancel culture, you baboon? Isn't this your whole shtick? Everyone can say whatever they want. Oh, it turns out you hated cancel culture when it was like people yelling about random trans people. Okay, you hated cancel culture when they were yelling at you because you wanted to look away when trans people are getting legislatively eradicated in this fucking country. Okay, but all of a sudden, when it's my emotional support apartheid state doing a genocide, I love cancel culture.
He was.
Okay, also based. We were there. And not only that, but also Bill Maher's shtick doesn't work in this regard. You can't fucking tailor your entire worldview over like your personal resentments against the woke and then be woke yourself. Okay. Oh my God, Shannon Watts. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I made the mistake of looking at my fucking Twitter timeline and it is so fucking annoying. Holy shit. Look at this. Shannon Watts, supposed to be Moms Demand Action, right? Supposed to be a woke warrior, quote retweeting Chuck Ross, investigative reporter at the Washington Free Beacon, saying, "I'm curious why Piker decided to press her like this. He usually does chummy softball stuff with candidates on his side. He'd bro it with Abdul Al-Sayed, Ro Khanna, etc." Shannon Watts says 3 guesses. Why are so many progressive men misogynistic assholes? Really? Really? That's why? Why are you agreeing with Republicans? Like the idea that I'm like, I'm fucking misogynistic against like women of color is insane. The overwhelming majority of the candidates that I align with are women of color. What the fuck are you saying? You just happen to hate them. So you just make them invisible. Summer Lee, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Malak Qiros, Darliza. What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. Ilhan Omar was definitely in a hostile environment when she was on a stream. Someone was so awful to her that he thoughtfully gave her a gift that he knew she would appreciate very much. Actually, we don't support placing black women in hostile spaces for shits and giggles. What the fuck are these people saying? Do they genuinely? I mean, AOC, obviously. Rashida Tlaib. These people are so fucking annoying, dude. And the problem that I have is it's clearly untrue. It's objectively untrue. What Kami says, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. It's objectively untrue, but it doesn't fucking matter at all. Clara Valdez. Oh my God. I mean, Ray Huang. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Cory Bush. Dude, Kat Abou-Ghazal, like literally the overwhelming majority of the candidates on our side are literally socialist women of color, okay? Progressive women of color, socialist women of color, literally insane. It's an insane thing to claim. Like, they did this with Bernie Sanders, right? They were like, oh, Bernie Sanders, the Bernie bros. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? The squad is unbelievably diverse. It's infinitely more diverse than the regular demographic makeup of Congress. That Sudan clip has done numbers. I've had some mutuals bring it up. Yeah, I know. It's fucking annoying. And they slam it over and over again. They've learned the Trump method. It doesn't matter. They're going to say anything and everything they can. They've throw any shit on the wall. Some of it will stick for some people. Yeah, but it doesn't work because Trump is fucking president twice now.
And then they
problem that people like Dan Bilzerian present for people like Randy Fine is that they are almost entirely in agreement in their worldview, except for one issue where Dan Bilzerian, a repulsive, toxic, monstrous individual, literally sees the world eye to eye with Randy Fine on every issue, except for one issue, Israel, where Randy Fine actually loses on that argument. This is a problem on the right that they have to deal with on their own, okay? It's not my battle. It's not my fight. You will never catch me being like, oh, I endorse Dan Bilzerian. Fucking bullshit, okay? But it's the same with Nick Fuentes as well. These guys, Nick Fuentes versus Ben Shapiro, Randy Fine versus Dan Bilzerian, okay? Think about this. Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes see eye to eye on virtually everything when it comes to, destroying trans people, when it comes to destroying the lives of immigrants in this country, when it comes to designing a white supremacist dystopia in the United States of America, right? Sure, Ben Shapiro is never going to be as openly racist as Nick Fuentes is, but they largely agree on the broader strokes, okay? They do. They agree on everything, except for Israel. It is their toxic, repulsive worldview that gives people like Nick Fuentes an upper hand, okay? That's it. It is their repulsive worldview for every single issue that causes people to make that calculation to go, oh, well, I guess Nick Fuentes is better off overall. Because if you have someone, and on the other side of this story is like a comparison between Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC. If you noticed, I never say Marjorie Taylor Greene is a better advocate for Palestinians than AOC is because I'm not fucking insane. Okay? I'm not an insane person. Unfortunately, many of you have become insane. Maybe not in this community, but certainly in the broader community. There's a lot of people who are like, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene actually, did sacrifice quite a bit. AOC never did. Okay, I don't care. Okay, you guys are fucking silly. You're being totally ridiculous. And there are some people who I actually have great respect for, like Ryan Grimm, who also sometimes advance this cause as well. Okay? No comparison from your viewpoint for sure. No doubt. Let's move on. Yeah. Mehdi actually made a video about it. I know. I wanted to watch this. And there was also a spirited debate between Ryan Grimm and Sam Cedar on this issue as well. Unfortunately, I saw someone get upvoted on your subreddit for saying MTG was better on Israel, Palestine, and AOC. Marjorie Taylor Greene's entire track record on Israel, Palestine is unbelievably worse than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It is a shame and a real problem that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was outflanked by Marjorie Taylor Greene in a moment where it mattered, right? Where she made, before AOC ever did, the no distinction between defensive and offensive weapons talking point as a provision in a bill, okay? But the very fact that if you were to match her entire career on this issue and what she has done on this issue as opposed to AOC's entire career and what she's done and what she said on this issue, there is no comparison, okay? We can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? We can't just decide that all of your previous choices, all your previous moves don't fucking matter. We have to be a little bit more critical about people who are newcomers into the fucking fold as well. Anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's continue with this.
What's more progressive?
Do we need more than Jewish space lasers? How are some so ignorant? I don't even care about that, honestly. That's not even my main point of contention here, okay? Obviously, that's a ridiculous thing, and it's an anti-Semitic thing to say, but it's not even that. That's because people will say, that's the reason why you're attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's clearly an avowed champion of Palestinian rights or whatever. That's not even the main point of contention here. I think that's the tip of the fucking iceberg because of how much more she's done. Dude, Bill, it kind of feels like you're upset that people are talking about your emotional support apartheid state that's doing a genocide in the same way that you talk about the entire world of Islam. Okay? And ironic because none of them are saying Actually, it's not even as bad. It's not even as bad. Because Bill Maher talks about the entire world of Islam. He talks about the entirety of the religion, okay? Zionism is an ideology. Israel is a country. Zionism is an ideology. When people actually criticize Zionism as a fascist ideology, they have every right to do this. The idea that you can't fucking say this about a fucking fascist ideology like Zionism that is designed around ethno-religious supremacy and the extermination of the outgroup is fucking ridiculous. You talk this way about Nazis, Bill Maher's not going to fucking criticize you, right? Well, actually, that's not true. He probably would criticize you because he fucking aligns with them. So I guess in that perspective, he is consistent. He will defend all Nazis in all shapes, colors, and sizes, except for Nazis who will cynically use the Israel issue to advance their anti-Semitic causes, right? Is it awful? Is it? Do you think that's awful, Bill? Or do you have to say that right now to try to present yourself as like being consistent on the issue? Bitch, say it with your chest, big dog. What happened? Why are you engaging in ass covering, Bilbo? You fucking love that shit. Say it with your chest. Oh no. Oh no. Now it's awful. Let's see what he says, because he said, but Muslims not a difficult choice. That's awful, but.
Same as they need to be nuked. And let's exterminate.
Wait, what? They have been nuked, you fucking asshole. You and Randy Fine are basically defending that. Not even basically, directly defending that. Israel has deployed the metric ton equivalent of 8 nukes on Gaza. Shut the fuck up. You think that shit is normal. You think that shit is good. And Israel did that with our tax dollars and our political cover on the global stage. And that's precisely what we're fucking opposing here. And you can't stand it. You support that shit. Shut the fuck up.
Them. This is why Jewish people here and in Europe now say they sometimes hide their identity.
Like, here's the equivalent, okay? Candace Owens is a great equivalent to Randy Fine in many respects, okay? Candace Owens will say all Jews are like this, yada, yada. They're contract lawyers. She'll wave the fucking, Talmudic Jew as a response. What maybe you find repulsive in her politics is actually a mirror being reflected back at you, where she basically flips the table and treats Jews in the same exact way that you treat Muslims. Don't engage in this fucking counter argument, okay? Candace Owens talks about Jews in the exact same way that Bill Maher talks about Muslims, in the exact same way. One is invited in polite society and can sit around and complain about not getting a fucking Emmy and consider that to be soft canceled. The other one is a fucking a congressional statement of disapproval, a bill designed after her, okay? And I'm also catching a fucking stray in the process. She is actually anti-Semitic. I'm not, but, I'm not even going to get into that part of the equation, okay?
Afraid that the Star of David will get them attacked, as has happened in almost too many places to mention lately. Leave your Star of David at home. But the keffiyeh, you can wear that anywhere.
First of all, I don't think anyone should be afraid to be Jewish in public. That's fucking insane, okay? A part of that is because of assholes like you defending Israel while also tying Israel to Judaism, okay? That's the problem. Many people here, dickheads like Bill Maher, constantly fucking conflate Judaism and Zionism every fucking day and go, okay, I guess this is what Jews care about. I don't like Israel, so I guess I don't like Jews. And they don't like the society that they've designed. One of the problems is there are people out there who make this distinction. There are people out there who fight against this false conflation. And you call people like myself who do this also anti-Semitic. That's the problem. You think fucking Javier Bardem thinks that there is, all Jews love Israel, for example? You think Javier Bardem says shit like that? Fuck no, of course not. But right now, you're terror jacketing these people for wearing a keffiyeh, a symbol of resistance, a symbol of existence. which happens to be resistance because Israel is annihilating the Palestinian population.
Where to fiddle you name a Jewish professor?
Yeah, it is a false equivalency. Islamophobia is significantly worse. What the fuck are you talking about? Islamophobia is normalized. Okay? That's the whole point. Yes, Islamophobia is far worse. I will say that every damn day of the fucking week. Okay? Because there's still some residual institutional stigma associated with anti-Semitism. Now, obviously, that's going away with the tireless efforts of the likes of Jake Tapper, Bill Maher, and numerous other media figures who have so cynically deployed anti-Semitism against people like myself, who are not anti-Semitic but fight against anti-Semitism, who happen to be anti-Zionist from a principled anti-genocide, anti-fascist perspective, right? Every time you do shit like this, you destroy the institutional stigma that existed for anti-Semitism. Slowly but surely, Jonathan Greenblatt has done tireless advocacy in this field, okay? Jonathan Greenblatt is one of the biggest purveyors and disseminators of anti-Semitic thought and sentiment in this fucking country.
Who talks about Muslims the way they get talked about? No.
What? Dude. What? What? Did you just say?
Professor who talks...
Anti-Semitism database is no longer about anti-Semitism. It's more often than not about anti-Zionism. If you go through the actual database reports, you will find that anytime someone is, wearing a keffiyeh around, pro-Israel people, that's logged as a fucking anti-Semitic hate crime. It's bullshit. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and act like, all of it is bullshit. It's not, right? If someone is like drawing a swastika outside of a synagogue, that's an anti-Semitic hate crime. It's valid. That's a valid thing to report on. Okay. And we can have a conversation about how there is no diligent reporting on Islamophobic hate crimes. Obviously, that's the case. And it's not just Islamophobia either. Anti-black hate crimes don't get the same level of diligence, even though there are institutions dedicated and tasked with identifying and reporting on anti-black hate crimes, even though it never has that same level of institutional stigma or institutional significance as anti-Semitism does. Let's be real. It's just the fucking case. Ask any normie black or brown person how they feel about this issue, and you'll find out very quickly. Okay? Can you imagine being stopped by cops because you're fucking Latino while driving or black while driving as being logged as an anti-black hate crime? It would be like 1 million, okay? This isn't to undermine the impact of anti-Semitism or the growth of anti-Semitism in this country, but think about how fucking many anti-black hate crimes enforced by the very same institutions take place on U.S. soil on a fucking daily basis. Bill Maher, if I were to say this to his face, would turn around and go, "Oh, you're so woke. Why are you so woke? Oh, every time a cop stops a scary black person, that's implicit bias? Huh? Yeah, it is. It is, you fucking idiot. It is. This is why I say there is a lot more institutional stigma against anti-Semitism than there is for any other group. And the reason for that is because of the association of Judaism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism being used as a very successful for the last 50 years or so, or 40 years or so, since this became a fashionable thing, to associate that with a defense of Israel. Okay, I've said this before. If there was no Israel whatsoever, okay, because even post-Holocaust, there was still tremendous institutional anti-Semitism in this country. Okay, the idea that there wasn't anti-Semitism at the systemic level post-Holocaust is ridiculous. There was. Okay, talk to any Jew over the age of 60, and you will find out. Can't go to the same schools, can't go to the country club, can't, it's varying degrees. It's not the same as, anti-blackness, of course, but still, there was systemic enforcement of anti-Semitism in this country. Sometimes it took shape with the Red Scare. Sometimes Jews were seen as having dual loyalty, not to Israel, ironically enough, but to the USSR, for example. Yeah. Jewish law firms propped up because WASP law firms did not want to hire Jews. In a manner not dissimilar to Nazi Germany, Jews were accused of fomenting Marxist thought, which was seen as a foreign thing, that the foreigners living on U.S. soil, Jewish Americans, were engaging in, okay? It's exactly the same as what Adolf Hitler was doing, but of course we did it in the American style, and the McCarthyite trials were seen as a good thing, at the time. But the impact was all the same, outcasting Jews in general. These were systemic versions of anti-Semitism being implemented on U.S. soil not that fucking long ago. Okay? Now, of course, things have changed. That doesn't exist anymore. Yes, Karl Marx was Jewish, but he also was not exactly fond of Judaism either. For those of you who don't know. It's always funny, though. They'll be like, Karl Marx, a deeply anti-Semitic man. He was far from the first. He was, far from being the first Jewish guy with leftist thought that was called an anti-Semite. But yeah, Karl Marx, the OG Reddit atheist.
If any other minority.
One could argue that if the Rosenbergs were white and not Jewish, that the U.S. state would not have executed them for spying for the USSR, especially with them being the first. And also the case was shaky. Yeah. The goats. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, born Greenglass, were an American married couple who were convicted of spying for the Soviet Union, including providing top secret information about American radar, sonar, and jet propulsion engines and nuclear weapons designs. They were executed by the federal government of the United States in 1953 using New York State execution chamber in Sing Sing, becoming the first American civilians to be executed for such charges and the first to be executed during peacetime. They advanced the Soviet nuclear weapons program.
Group was being talked about this way, you'd
Roy Cohn.
break out the Kentacles.
Yeah. I'm never going to stop railing on the Democrats for, unfortunately, being too invested in material improvements, even aesthetically, for the marginalized groups, except for one. The most maligned, marginalized group of all in modern American society. Those who want to defend the state of Israel. Not Jews, but those who want to defend the state of Israel. There is no group more cast aside than people who are pro-Israel. Yeah, no one's asking you anything, Bill. That's so funny. People ask me all the time. Why, Bill? Why are you so mad about the Democrats? What would happen if Patrick Bet-David walked in as Bill Maher was saying that? I'm a numbers guy. Bill, listen. You and I, we've had our disagreements. We've fought quite a bit. Okay? But on this issue, I'm going to say, I'm a numbers guy. Why don't we grok it? Why don't we grok it to find out how bad anti-Semitism is in America? We're going to grok it. We're going to ChatGPT it. We're not going to Claude it. Okay? We will never Claude it. Claude is a woman. I'm a numbers guy.